What is going on, everybody? Tanner Phifer here, host of the NFL Rumors podcast. Special guest today, UFL quarterback Luis Perez. Thank you so much for your time. How close? I know the season's getting really close to start for y'all. I've been seeing a lot of social media posts from the UFL itself. So go ahead and just tell us how you're doing and what you're doing to prepare.
Yeah, so we just got done with training camp. We just closed that chapter. Just finished up today. Got a few days off and then ready for the game for next Saturday. But we're excited, ready to go, and anxious to play the game.
So I know you've had several stints in the NFL. Like, can you tell us just some insight and how it's been to, be able to have that opportunity and then back to UFL? And have you had, close friends get an opportunity again to go to the NFL from the UFL?
Yeah, so it's been good. So my rookie year, I was with the Rams in 2018,
Mhm.
and then I went to the Birmingham Iron in 2019. Then I got a stint with the Eagles. Got released for whatever reason, and then went to Detroit, got released. Then played in the XFL in 2020. After that, I got traded to the Guardians. After that, I played for the Jousters in 21 after COVID shut down the XFL in 2020. Then I went to the USFL in 22, got signed back to the Rams. And then from there, I played in the XFL with the Vegas Vipers. And then
Yep.
got traded halfway through the season to the Arlington Renegades, where we won a championship, and I won the MVP
Yep.
of the game.
I remember that.
And last year, I was in the UFL again, came back, and then was able to sign with the Chargers, which was awesome. Hometown team. I'm from San Diego.
Oh, awesome.
So I grew up a Charger fan my whole life. So that was good. Yeah, they've all been, fairly short stints, but just waiting for that right opportunity, for me to stick. Like good friend of mine, Cavante Turpin. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what he's, made of himself, and he just got paid this year. So happy for him. Great player, and it's just kind of one of those things: is right place, right time, right fit, and you look back and you're like, man, I'm in the NFL. So
Yeah.
it's been cool to watch his journey.
Yeah, I think he's a new 2-year deal with Dallas, something like that.
Believe so. Yeah.
So really good for him. He's a great returner, speedster. It was really cool watching him. I remember him getting initially signed to Dallas. I'm based in Arkansas, but you figured I'd probably be a Dallas fan or something, or a Kansas City fan. I'm actually a Green Bay Packers fan. So don't know why. Grew up watching Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Have a lot of family up north, so kind of just grew up watching the Packers. But I always did appreciate the Chargers. I loved watching Phillip Rivers back in the day. He was
Oh
Antonio
yeah.
Gates.
Rivers, Breeze. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was some of my favorite players, and I love Rivers. So I always kind of appreciated the Chargers. Um, really, really cool. And I bet your story is just fascinating, and this actually gives us an opportunity to talk about your book.
Yeah. So yeah, my journey is very unique. I just felt like it was going to be a disservice to not share my story. From not playing high school football to walking on at junior college and learning how to play football on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
On the peak of me turning professional in bowling. I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna put bowling on the back burner and I'm gonna pursue my NFL dream. Right? Everyone thought I was crazy. And went on YouTube, started learning, and fast forward now, obviously made it to the NFL, Division II Heisman, national champion, XFL champion, and so I just think a lot of people can really impact from my story. It's not the traditional path on how to make it to the NFL,
Not at all. That's actually really good. I
but
didn't know that about the bowling.
yeah. So I just think it's really impactful, and I think again, I think I do a disservice to everyone not to share it. So it's been a really cool process these last few months, just being able to kind of reflect back on just my whole life, right? Like as an
Mhm.
athlete, as a competitor, you're really never looking back, right? You're always looking at what's in front of you and what task you're going to accomplish, and just all right, I just finished this league. Okay, what's next? What's next? Right? You're never really looking back, and I just felt like this last couple months was good for me to reflect back and just realize, man, like I've been through a lot of different scenarios and different things that have prepared me for the current moment now. And yeah, no, so the book will be called The Spring King. That's kind of the nickname the internet gave me from just playing in all these spring leagues over the years. Um, so yeah, that book will come out March 27th.
Sweet.
So pretty soon, yeah, it'll be on Amazon. I'll have a website. And yeah, no, it's a good deal. I just think, it's going to impact millions of people. And I think anybody can read it, whether it's, an athlete in high school, an NFL player, or just some guy that wants to just know how to deal with adversity and how to pursue your dreams and how to
Yeah.
become a champion. So I think it'll be really cool for my story to get out and just impact people.
That's really cool, and we'll definitely be sharing that for you. We don't mind here. That'd be really cool to
I appreciate
get
that.
a copy of that and also share it and just make sure everyone knows about it. That's really, really cool. Um, so it kind of brings us to NFL, and obviously we're the NFL Rumors podcast, and we know you've had some stints around the league and opportunities. And so you say you grew up a Chargers fan. What is what's your biggest news with the Chargers? Like, what do you want to see? What have you liked seeing so far off season wise?
Yeah, I like Harris. I like Najee Harris. I like that pickup. I think that'll be big, especially for the type of offense that Jim Harbaugh wants to run. He fits that mold really well. Um, Mike Williams coming back was big. Him and
Mm.
Justin they have a really good connection, so I think that'll be really good for them. Bulking up the offensive line, that's always good, right? Um, yeah, no, I think they're on the right track. I think Jim Harbaugh does a great job of, rallying guys in the right direction, and he knows what to say at the right time, man. Jim, when you're a head coach for a long time and you're successful, you just know what to say and know how to build a team, and I think they're doing that really good so far.
Yeah, I think rumors didn't you predict Najee Harris signing there? Wasn't that like his number one
Yeah, both of
destination?
them actually. Najee Harris and Mike Williams. Looking at some of the predictions we done, Louis, is Najee Harris. We thought he would be a good fit, being from the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a real good fit, and then we got the Mike Williams because Harbaugh actually wanted Mike Williams and Keenan Allen to come back, but he just wanted them on a better contract because they were going to eat into a lot of the cap space, and they weren't going to be able to make the moves that he wanted to make. Beckham was a really good signing because a lot of the people in the league wanted him to go back to play tackle like he did for the Jets. And
Yep.
he didn't really want to. He wanted to stay at guard. And I think that was a really good signing because he could definitely be a road grader for Najee Harris there and run the ball. And for what Jim Harbaugh wants to do with the unbalanced line, a lot of times he brings out 6 offensive linemen. I think
Mm-hmm.
Najee Harris will flourish under that. And I'd really like to see the Chargers really dive back in with J.K. Dobbins again. I'd like to see him
100%.
bring him back, be a really good thunder and lightning punch.
I agree. No, that's huge.
I didn't
They got
realize.
Bozeman back too, so I think that'll be really good.
I didn't realize. Mekhi Becton. He signed there.
Yep,
Yeah.
Mekhi
Okay, I
Becton,
must have missed
he's
it.
going to play guard. And remember, he was part of Saquon Barkley's 2,000-yard season, right? So,
Yeah. No, he
that's
definitely had a
huge.
resurgence in Philly.
Yeah, and I think he just sometimes you get played out of position, right? I mean,
Mm.
100%.
we've seen a lot of it. I think one of the biggest stories that I've ever followed, Luce, is nobody but Namdi Osmawa, who played for the Raiders. He went into like a defense that wasn't him, and he really struggled and signed a big money contract in Philly. And for the Raiders, I mean, he was viewed as top 3 cornerback. The Niners signed him, and like he was back to where he was at, right? But at that point, it was the later part of his career, and as you know, corners don't have a big time life
Yeah.
in the NFL. It goes pretty quick
For sure.
sometimes.
And that kind of that whole situation of a guy may kind of do really great and then sign somewhere else and just falls back to earth of where he was to begin his career kind of has me questioning, Sam Darnold in Seattle. And I know we were talking about some Seattle news before we started the podcast. Where do you see? And also, yes, C3 Panther. We are on YouTube. Just Google NFL rumors, and you'll find us on YouTube. Um, but where do you see, or how do you see Sam Darnold as a quarterback yourself? How do you see Sam Darnold performing, or do you think he's going to do what he did in Minnesota?
Yeah, so O'Connell's system is very quarterback friendly.
Mm-hmm.
He does a phenomenal job. He comes from the McVay tree, which I was with McVay myself, and he just makes everything so simple for the quarterback. He talks about illusion of complexity all the time, right? Running the same plays for the quarterback, but making it look different to the defense, whether we're shifting, whether we're motioning a guy, whether it's, different guys getting in different spots. But for the quarterback, it's the same progression, right? And O'Connell took a lot of that and applied it with Sam Darnold to simplify the game for him. And I think if Seattle can do that kind of same deal that they did in Minnesota, and he can just kind of limit the turnovers, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine.
You just think it just makes me wonder if, I mean, guys like that, he's had quite the, I don't want to call it, just not what he expected probably, as a career wise, but then does what he did, like 35 touchdown passes, something crazy like that in Minnesota. And then there was this news about his deal, and there was an out to his deal after the first year. Do you think that's wise of Seattle to do?
Well, there's a lot of people that can do it 1 year, right? The difference between good and great, in my opinion, is how consistently good you are, right? So you have to show that you can consistently be good year after year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the Mike Evans, the people that, I mean, it doesn't matter what quarterback. I mean, it doesn't matter. You just find a way to get it done and do your job to the highest of your ability. And you know, really, that's only Sam. That's really Sam's only year where he's really flourished and done really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's smart, because he hasn't proven it that he can do it back to back years. So I think that's smart by Seattle to do that.
I agree. I remember, I think it was like after Patrick Mahomes' rookie year, people on like my Instagram and all that were saying, he's going to be an all-time great. He's going to be an all-time great. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's slow down. Let's wait until he does it for 2 or 3 years in a row, and then I'll be a believer. And sure enough, he has. I mean, so I won't say I'll stand corrected, but like I just wasn't a believer until I see consistency. And I think that's a really, really big part, especially at the pro level.
100%.
Rumors, what do you think? What's your biggest take in Seattle?
Yeah, I think Seattle's going to have with their new look offense, they're
Mhm.
definitely going to be different with Cooper Cup and JSN.
But they've
I'm
lost Lockett and Metcalf.
Right. Yeah, and Lockett's rumored to go to the Raiders. We'll have to see if that tunes in to see if that happens, if he goes back and joins Pete Carroll.
Mhm.
But looking at that, Sam Darnold, just like we said, that Sam Darnold is, I think, looking at the tree that he's in and looking at the offensive coordinator getting that open read, Cooper Cup will make his life easy. You know
100%.
what I mean? I think he will on those little short outs and things of that nature. And one thing that Cooper Cup and Debo Samuels both said that they loved playing for the teams they played. They love playing for the Rams. They love playing for the 49ers. But it just ended up a situation where they didn't get the targets anymore to show what they could do. So when that happened, those guys want to go and prove themselves again. And that's, just like Luis is saying about his book, I think, that has a lot to talk about is just going out there and giving it your all, proving yourself, and not letting nothing get you down.
Yeah, at this stage in life, though, you think that Cooper Cup is going to be second fiddle to JSN. He's going to be a wide receiver one, do you think? Or who do you think is actually going to outperform the other?
I honestly think, like when you look at JSN, you look at Cooper Cup, and Luis, you can chime in for sure on this. Is I think that Sam Darnold is going to go through his progressions, and he's hitting the open guy, right? Whoever's open there.
Yeah. If they do anything similar to what they did in Minnesota, they're going to make his job a lot easier on Sam Darnold, make everything pure progression, put Cooper Cup on a lot of option routes where you really can't be wrong, right? If Cooper Cup makes the right decision and Sam Darnold sees it the same way, you really can't be wrong on a choice route, right? So, and then if, they double Cooper Cup, well, then you have one-on-one on the outside where JSN and all these guys can now make plays. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think Cooper Cup is still a wide receiver one in my opinion. He's a good friend of mine, and I mean, I just he's a phenomenal player. I mean, I was in practice with him. I saw the work he puts in, and I see what he does to some of these DBs in practice. I mean, it's impressive. So yeah, no, I definitely still think Cooper Cup is a wide receiver one, and hopefully he can show that this year.
Yeah,
What
I've
did you
always.
think about DK
Go ahead.
Metcalf getting moved in the whole season there, Luis?
Yeah, to be honest, that was kind of a surprise for me. I didn't think he was gonna go to Pittsburgh. But I mean, like you said, maybe some guys aren't happy where they're at and are content with the targets, or especially his quarterback leaving. Geno left to the Raiders.
Yep.
It's tough, right? With the insecurity of, you know, who's gonna be my quarterback, what's gonna happen, how is he gonna be with me, that type of deal. So I just think, I just really believe that DK's still an elite wide receiver. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that doesn't matter where he goes, the offensive coordinator should tailor the offense around him. I personally, I'm really high on him. I just really believe he has a full package. He has speed, he has power, he has good routes. He can block. I mean, he has the whole package. So I do think he's going to do well in Pittsburgh.
Tell us a little bit about. I know you was talking about. Well, I really followed the XFL big time when they came back. When Dwayne Johnson brought it back, I mean, I literally tuned in for every game. I was, sold. I really liked it. And what? Tell us a little bit maybe about when you played for Vegas. Maybe some guys that you might have played with there. That I think they had some former NFL guys on that team as well. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, we had a really good team. A lot of great players. We had Martavius Bryant, who was obviously you guys know who that is.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, second, I believe he was second round pick. And then there's a lot of guys that are also really good football players that people don't know about
Hmm.
too. Like we had a defensive end, Peta, who is an absolute stud, who is still playing to this day. He plays for the St. Louis Battlehawks now. We had Vic Beasley, which we all know who Vic Beasley is, right?
Yeah.
Led the league in sacks 1 year in the NFL. I mean, we had a good group of guys. It was just unfortunate how we couldn't all put it together. Um, and then ultimately, they didn't make the merger, and Vegas kind of just didn't happen anymore. But my time there was good. I was coached by Rod Woodson, Hall of Fame coach, who was a
Mhm.
great person. Love him. He was awesome. And then obviously, I got traded halfway through the season, and that's when we won the championship, and I got MVP and
Right.
all that stuff. So it was that was definitely a roller coaster season.
Sounds like it.
But go ahead.
No, I was just saying it sounds like it. I mean, going from trying to make it to making it, and halfway through a season. It's just
Yeah, no, it was we fired our coordinator week 3 or 4 of the season. Then we're doing well, and then we got left out of the playoffs. So then they were like, hey, well let's get some more guys some reps. You're not gonna play anymore, and then luckily I got traded, and then got to Renegades, and the injury had to happen. Then I played, did well, made the playoffs. Fast forward to shaking the Rock's hand, and the Rock, handed me the MVP trophy. Man, it
that's
was
pretty
a pretty
cool.
surreal moment. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Who would you say like when talking about your time with the XFL and the USFL, who do you think maybe has made the biggest impact on you as a coach?
I'm gonna say Bob Stoops and Chuck Long.
Mhm.
Um, my coordinator right now, Chuck Long, and then Bob Stoops. They are. I mean, if you talk about just like, I mean, phenomenal human beings, right? Like a lot of people could be great coaches, but to be also a great human being and like care about players and like genuinely care about players and for their success. And I mean, Bob Stoops and Chuck Long are awesome. I mean, it's been so great to work with them these last couple years. And, you know, Stoops, he knows what to say at the right time. He knows how to get his guys going. He knows how to get practice riled up if we need it. I mean, you can tell why he was so successful in college. I mean, and then we won the XFL championship. I mean, he's been a champion everywhere he's been. So that's been really good. And then for the offensive side of the ball with Chuck Long, he's obviously a stud himself. I mean,
Hmm.
he's a very humble guy, but he was the Heisman runner-up to Bo Jackson, in college. Then he was a first-round pick in the NFL. Played, I think it was 8 years in the NFL. I mean, he is very smart, and we see the game from the same lens, which that's helped out a lot, with game planning and the way we view things. So that transition was really smooth, really, really smooth, and I enjoy, every second I get to spend with those guys and talk some ball.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely. Yeah, I remember watching that inaugural season. I really had a good time watching that, in the XFL for sure. And are the hopes and dreams, Luis? Are you working trying to get back to the NFL
Oh
still?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
No, that's the goal. I mean, I was with the Chargers this year. I'm back on the map. I'm waiting for the right opportunity and the right time and the
Mhm.
right fit. And again, I'm just gonna keep going. Every single year that I play in these sprint leagues, I ask myself a couple questions. You know, do I enjoy getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and training and doing my routine and doing all that? The answer is yes. And then I ask myself, am I healthy? Yes. Am I playing at a high level? Yes. Right? Financially, can I keep going? Yes. So why wouldn't I keep going? You know, I
Right.
enjoy it. My family enjoys it. I'm playing at a high level. And my dreams and aspirations are still to go to the NFL. And I really, truly believe that I'm going to do it.
Awesome, man. That sounds so
It's a great
awesome.
mindset.
I know Ben DiNucci. I think he had a run with a couple teams as well there, if I'm not mistaken, in the XFL.
Yeah.
I think he was with Seattle maybe in the
Yeah.
XFL if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was in Seattle. I think he got signed after the season. And then I forget what team it was. Might have been Broncos, and
Yeah,
then I think
Saints,
Bills and
Broncos.
Saints. He kind of bounced around. But yeah, Ben's awesome. He's a great guy, a great player too. So yeah, I mean that's the dream, man. The dream is to go to the NFL, make a 50-man roster. You know, hopefully win Super Bowls. I mean that's the plan. You know, and
Right.
to me, like if you don't have that mindset with everything you do, like it's just not gonna happen. You
Mm.
know. So that's every day when I wake up. You know, I have a tape recorder right next to me where I have all these different things that I say that I put my headphones on and I sleep and I manifest like, hey, you know this is what it is and this is what I want to happen and I manifest it and I listen to it every night, every morning and every night. Um, so again, yeah, to answer your question though, yes, my goal is to go back to the NFL.
Awesome, awesome. I think it's amazing, man. I really do. I think that's just so awesome. I can't wait to read this book. I'm excited now to read this book, and learn more about it. And I think we'll definitely promote your book for sure on the page and try to get it in as many people's hands as possible. Because I know, like you said, you had a unique journey. It's going to be great just to sit down, take some time, read that book, and
Mm.
go through everything that, like, kind of get in your mind a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, get in your mind
100%.
of what you went through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no, 100%.
and just so if anyone new is watching, we've got over 2,000 people watching live right now on NFL Rumors X account or formerly Twitter. So he's got the reach. And if you want, you can go ahead and shout it out again and give us the name of it and when it comes out
Yeah,
if you want. We got new people watching.
yeah. So my book's gonna be called The Spring King. March 27th is going to come out. It's going to be sold on Amazon and then my personal website on my Instagram page.
That's
Awesome,
great.
awesome, awesome. So, what are you like as we come back to the NFL a little bit? Just Tanner,
Mhm.
just talking about some things that happened. The big thing that we're waiting on, guys, is Aaron Rodgers. Right,
Yeah.
that's it.
I'm
Right.
as a Packers fan, despite what media says about Aaron Rodgers, whatever, I don't care about any of that. He's to me the greatest thrower of the football ever. I mean, just the throws he's made and the style of throw. I just love watching him throw the ball. It's different. Like always watching him in primetime football. Just the way like he can just like flick. He just flicks the ball. I don't know. Everything about Aaron Rodgers playing football has always been exciting. And then I turn on some other game and I'm just like, this just is not an exciting game. And then you go back to an Aaron Rodgers game, on the Packers at least, and it was like this is exciting. It's just always an adventure watching him play. Like Louise, do you have any takes on where he'll sign or if he signs and your thoughts about him?
Yeah, so I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I mean, he's a guy. I mean, him and Tom Brady are the reason why I wear 12. I mean, I mean, I agree with you. He's the best thrower of the football, in my opinion. The way he can throw from different angles, the way he manipulates the pocket, the way he extends plays, like I mean, he's unbelievable. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the fact that he doesn't throw many interceptions and he's able to keep his touchdown reception ratio so good. I mean, he's phenomenal. I was hoping he went to Minnesota, but I know there's some came out today that I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to go with McCarthy, but man, that's
Yeah.
going to be tough. I really don't know. I think the rumors are I think Pittsburgh and New York. I think, but
Hmm.
the Giants. Or retirement. I really don't know. I'd like to see him, paired up with DK. I think that would be good. Giants, I really don't know. It'd be cool to get him with neighbors, but I think he wants to go to a team that is more established. I think that could really make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. So I just hope he continues to play. I really don't care where he lands. I just want him not to retire.
Yeah, I know. I want to see him play too. I want to see him
Yeah.
win, and I can't tell you how many times, like 5 NFC championships and all losses. I mean, just imagine if he could just make another Super Bowl, could they win it?
Yes.
And I want to see him just get there at least. And to me, I think his best opportunity right now in free agency would be Minnesota. Why not let J.J. McCarthy learn from one of the greatest of all time and heal up, like completely be 100% healed?
Yeah.
And as I just pulled up here on the screen, the Vikings did just sign Rondale Moore, another speedster who didn't really get, I want to say, his opportunities in Arizona. I think he was drafted to Arizona. I liked him there, but I just think he just didn't work out there. But I would love to see that as well. I think they've got a great offense. Aaron Jones, Kevin O'Connell. Look what he did with Sam Darnold. Imagine what he can do with Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to see him in Minnesota. As a Packers fan, it's hard to say, but I think that's his best shot.
Yeah, and it's the same system, like the Matt LaFleur, the Sean McVay, right? Kevin O'Connell. It's all the same system. So there's
Yeah.
really no. He's not gonna have to learn a whole new offense, a whole new language. He's gonna fit right in like a glove. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, want some more just to let you guys know. Micah Parsons has not had any good talks so far with the Cowboys, so that'll be it's interesting to see. After a lot of people believe after Myles Garrett got that big contract that Dallas could be backing away
Yeah.
from an extension from Micah Parsons.
And did I see something that like he was skipping voluntary events and workouts, or was that Myles Garrett? I don't.
Myles Garrett's going to skip. That's something normal for him.
Yeah.
Like it's not something he's doing just because of his contract that's happened. So that's very interesting. That's out there. One of the big signings that definitely happens. T. Higgins, finally got his bag for Cincinnati. But some news today. I know me and Tanner actually both of us presented that news. But Carson Wentz, who has kind of moved around a little bit after being a first round pick for the Eagles,
Yep.
and he was with the Chiefs, but the Browns and him have mutual interest there, Luis, and it seems like that the Browns could end up going with Carson Wentz and Kenny Pickett battling it out for that starting job.
Interesting. Yeah. So I was with Carson in 2019, in Philly. So I personally love Carson. He can spin it, man. He can spin the ball very well. At the time he was still, I think he was still learning some things in the film room, and I was young myself too. But yeah, no, I think he's probably seen a lot of football. He's grown a lot. Sometimes when you sit back and you don't play, that's when you grow the most.
Yep.
So I really do think if he gets an opportunity, I think he'll do well. Especially now, the game is moving towards more of the more mobile quarterback and stuff like that. And he was obviously very mobile. That 1 year where he probably would have won MVP when he got hurt. I'm sure he still has that in him. He has to flourish and he's got to get it done. But yeah, no, I think that could be a good fit.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a good move too. As you guys already talked about J.J. McCarthy, it was kind of some big news today as well that they're leaning toward him. And it's some surprising news that came out last night. A lot of people thought the Titans was going to kind of roll with Will Levis, even if they drafted like Cam Ward as their quarterback. But it seems like that they're taking calls on Will Levis right now in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I think so. Will, Kentucky guy, went to Kentucky. He actually was coached by Liam Cohen in college. So that's something that something to look out for. Maybe Jacksonville pulls a trade or something. I don't know their relationship, but yeah, I think that'll be interesting. I think Will has a lot of potential that is still need to be unlocked. To me, if I'm like an evaluator looking at Will Levis, strong arm, but struggles with the what we call the two ball, right? The up and down ball, like over the linebackers but before the safeties type ball, or over the corner before the safety. That's where he struggles, and that's where the majority of the game is played, right? You really only throw maybe 1 to 2 passes past 50 yards every game, right? The rest of them are probably under 20 yards.
Right.
So, you have to master that intermediate game. You can't be the home run hitter, but you miss 70% of the intermediate balls, right? You got to be consistent at that position. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play that out. But yeah, keep an eye out. Liam Cohen again coached them in college
Yeah,
at Kentucky, so that's something to look out
because
for.
Mac Jones signed
with the
somewhere
Niners.
with the Niners. Finally,
Yeah,
kind of going to Shanahan. They kind of debated drafting him anyways, so
Mm-hmm.
they could be in the need of a backup. And I don't know if they've signed another guy, so that's actually a good take.
Well, yeah. So, I think that's a really good take. It's something that we've brought up before as well, is something that if you want some insurance, just in case Trevor Lawrence is not the guy you think he is, right? I think Will Levis could be some really great insurance for Jacksonville, and knows how to
yeah.
play in the system
Mm-hmm.
that the guy's going to bring. So it'll be, I think that's a really good move, guys, with what he's going to do. And like, we're still waiting on Kirk Cousins, Luis. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen. The guy, his agent, I have to say that his agent's amazing because he's going to make $100 million again.
Yes,
And
100%.
he's made like $400-500 million while he's in the NFL. So you know what I mean? It's insane. So,
And if he gets
but
released and signed, he's just gonna make more. I mean,
right. And Cleveland's been like knocking at his door because their head coach had him in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Right. So we'll just have to see what happens there. But I mean, I really think it's going to be a hard justification to say that you're going to pay Kirk Cousins $25 million to sit on and hold a clipboard
yeah,
for
be a
Michael
backup.
Penix. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I'm actually a big Kirk Cousins fan. I think he can still play.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get to that level and you start trying to. It seemed like he was experimenting a little bit and trying out different things because I go back and watch a lot of film on the NFL and there's guys open. He's just sometimes I don't fully understand where his eyes are or where he's looking at.
yeah.
But again, he's a vet. I mean, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Sometimes it's like honing it back down, right? Going back to the basics, simplifying everything, and that's sometimes when you become more successful. So, but again, I'm a big Kirk fan, so hopefully he lands somewhere in place.
Yeah, we got a couple more quarterbacks we'll talk with Luis here is Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson's really waiting on Aaron Rodgers because the two teams he's interested in playing for reportedly are the Steelers and the Giants, right? And he actually talked to the Giants last year before he went to the Steelers. So that will be an interesting move. I know the Titans and Browns have talked to him, but the Browns seem like they're keyed in on Carson. Titans could be somebody probably to watch as a wild card, but man, I really like the Giants for Russell Wilson if Aaron Rodgers don't go there because they're really on Shadir Sanders right now, the Giants. So that I think that would be a really good vet rookie quarterback combo probably.
I
Yeah, for
just
sure. No, I agree with that. Go
yeah, I
ahead.
think saw something about the Patriots not signing or trading or pulling the trigger on a trade for a veteran receivers because they didn't want to put the pressure on
Drake.
Drake May. And I was like, I don't think that's the actual reason why. Like, why would you not benefit your team worrying about a potential of pressure? Like, I don't think that's why they didn't do it. And then as far as Russell Wilson goes, I think Pittsburgh's crazy for not re-signing one of those guys.
Yeah.
Maybe in the end he does resign with Pittsburgh if Aaron doesn't.
I'll be honest with you. I really like Russell Wilson right now, even better to Pittsburgh. Like if I'm looking at that situation because of DK Metcalf,
Mm.
right,
I
and
mean, they
them
have that
knowing each
connection from
other.
Seattle.
Right, like them knowing each other. I'm thinking that's a good thing. And we know Aaron Rodgers is great, but reportedly today he's going to, after saying that he's real close to make a decision. Some of the insiders came out and said that, but today it came out of his camp that he's taking his time, right? But the key is, will these other teams let him take his time? Will they go ahead and make a move
Or sign a
because they
veteran.
don't want to be out in the cold when it comes to trying to get a quarterback? Because one of these teams will probably break, right, and go get one of those quarterbacks. I feel. So that'll be interesting to see there what happens. And you still got Amari Cooper, guys, and Keenan Allen out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two really good wide receiver in the third
Luis, I'm
round
sure
of
you'd
free
like to
agents.
see Keenan back in. I
Oh
was going to
yeah,
say San
in
Diego,
LA.
but it's Los Angeles now.
Yeah, he did talk to them this week, though. Keenan Allen did talk to the Chargers this week. So that's something just to monitor, right? And the Chargers are still looking for wide receiver help. So it'll be interesting to
Ooh.
see if they will be willing to sign Keenan Allen.
As
The
a
Bears could, Tanner, right there, the Bears said they were in on Keenan Allen, but they signed Duvernay today, right? Even though he's a
yeah,
kick returner, that's a wide receiver roster spot.
yeah, it is a wide
Sure.
receiver roster spot.
Yeah, no, I really think that, you know, Keenan Allen, I mean, going back to the Chargers, I think that would be huge. That would be
Mhm.
huge. I mean, especially, they didn't sign Josh Palmer back. And I just think, they need help at that position. And Mike Williams has his own dynamic, right? Like big body, one-on-one X receiver, can go downfield 50-50 balls, right? And then Keenan Allen gives you a little bit of both, but he gives you more of like the route running, the middle of the field, being able to, cook guys on choice routes and different things. And he gives you a veteran presence, which that's something that, we really didn't have in LA this last year, true veteran presence. So, yeah, no, man, that would be cool to see. But
What do you
again,
think
we'll see what
of
happens.
what do you think of Lad McConkey being there in his rookie year?
Oh, he's a stud. I
Yeah,
mean, from the first practice I saw him, I said, this guy's going to be special. He understands the game very well. For him being a rookie, like understanding defenses and where they are and, where linebackers push and where they relate to number three and all these different things. I mean, he understands it all. So that was very impressive to see him as a rookie do that.
yep,
Um, and yeah, if he can stay healthy and man, I think that's a huge weapon for Justin these next, hopefully, 8+ years.
yeah. I'm a Herbert fan, so I do want to see him get to a Super Bowl and win. I think it'd be really cool. Plus, like I said, I've always loved Rivers growing up. I'd like to just always kind of appreciated the Chargers, but it seemed like a stretch of like 6 to 8 to 9 years before Harbaugh got there, dude. They just injury bug. I mean, they can't stay
Yeah.
healthy. I was like, they need to work on strength and conditioning coaches or something.
Yeah.
But Najee Harris came out and said he's like, man, this is they've got this training equipment and everything. Like it's almost like I was back at Bama, and apparently they didn't have that in Pittsburgh because he was really liking what strength and conditioning was there.
Yeah, that brand new facility, the Bolt, is phenomenal. I mean, they have everything you can think of there.
Awesome.
And it's all local. It's brand new. I mean, it's state of the art. I mean, it's awesome.
Another thing to think about, guys, is like when you look at the Raiders, like you're talking about a Georgia guy. We was talking about the Georgia wide receiver just in for the Chargers, but the Georgia tight end was amazing this year for the
Brock
Raiders.
Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. And like if they added Tyler Lockett in there, they got Jacoby Myers already. The Raiders with Geno could not be a bad situation because they signed Raheem Mostert as their running back, who the last time actually he started over 15 games had 18 rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
Good point.
Yeah, I think the Raiders made some nice moves.
They have.
Yeah.
They have. I just don't know. I mean, I appreciate Geno Smith, and he's kind of had that like late bloomer approach. He's kind of found his home in Seattle, but I just don't know if he can keep it up in Las Vegas. I just don't know if that's the situation at quarterback that's going to bring you a Super Bowl or anything.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, Luis, I think one of the biggest things is the reason they brought Geno on is Chip Kelly runs that spread, and you could talk to us a little bit more about that, but he runs that spread offense, and Geno Smith really done very, very well when he played at West Virginia in the spread, right? I mean, tremendous. I think that Geno Smith, not only did he go there for talent, knowing Pete Carroll, but also the way he could fit in his offense in a spread.
Yeah, no, 100%. You couldn't have said it any better. That offense fits Geno Smith like a glove. I mean, he ran the RPO system, the spread RPO. I mean, you really can't be wrong, right? When you run RPOs, the run pass options, like you have numbers in the box, run the ball. You don't have numbers in the box, throw it out there. They want to go man coverage. Well, then you can check and get some man beaters in there. Like the system is built to succeed. So I think, again, Geno having experience in that offense, and obviously Chip having his success there. I think I really, honestly, I'm also a Geno fan. I really believe that, quarterbacks have to be in the right system at the right time to be able to flourish. And a lot of quarterbacks' careers die. They die because they're not in the right system, not with the right coaching, not the right pieces around them, and it ends up not working out. But like you said with Geno Smith, I mean, he went to the right system, got his opportunity, made the best of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year too.
Absolutely. Luis, I know you're a busy guy. We don't want to take too much of your time. We appreciate all your insight here on the NFL Rumors podcast. We'd love to have you back in the future anytime and talk about your book when it releases and all of that. And we're going to put a wrap on the episode. And like I said, we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you guys. Thank you, Tanner.
No, you're welcome. Well, I don't know if you lagged out there.
Yeah.
Oh, there he
He's
is.
back.
We got you back. We lost you for a second.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you guys kind of broke up a little bit.
Sorry about that.
I just said appreciate you guys.
No, absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
appreciate you, Luis. It was real nice to meet you and get to talk to you today. And, can't wait to check out the book and, look over there. And we definitely love to have you back. Had over almost 3,000 people tune in today on the live view. So we definitely appreciate it. And hopefully they got to see a great quarterback today.
And
I appreciate that.
We'll be looking forward to watching you
Anytime,
play.
let me know.
Next Saturday, right?
Next Saturday, yep.
All right, man. I'll make sure to tune in, be rooting for you.
Me too.
It'd be really cool it's so cool to be able to talk to someone and then watch them play on national television. To me, that's really exciting. So I really, really do appreciate you.
Oh yeah, of course. You guys are awesome. So
Thanks, guys.
yeah, let's stay in touch. Thank you guys.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Louise, and we will see you guys on the next episode of the NFL Rumors podcast.